Hello, Mr. Harry, and also my beloved friends. In this occasion, I would like to present my research proposal. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Serli Winarti. You can call me Serli. With student ID number 20120211017. So here, my research topic is about the study on motivation and anxiety of English learning in English language education. So there are two kinds. There are research background and also literature review. In research background, there are background of the study, limitation of the study, problem of the study, purpose of the study, and also significance of the study. And in the literature review, there are motivation in learning language, anxiety in learning language, and also relationship between motivation and anxiety for learning language. So we can start from research background. There are background of the study. Many nations acknowledge that English serves as an international language and lingua franca. In Indonesia, for example, English is regarded as a globalization imposed to me. Students in Indonesia are required to be able to communicate in English both orally and in writing in order to succeed in this globalization era. There has been a good development of literature in the field of teaching English related to psychological aspect of learning, such as motivation and anxiety. Students should be encouraged to consider their favorable personality qualities in order to pull and openly build on their individual strengths. In fact, students may avoid using the English language in the classroom because they are afraid of making mistakes and anxiety is high. Anxiety as a subjective feeling of tension and apprehension, nervousness, and worry. Generally, anxiety is viewed to be detrimental to performance on learning tasks and that require attention and deliberate effort. Motivation is one of the most significant factors that impacted the rate and success of language learning. Foreign language anxiety is becoming even more vital in second language education studies. As previously stated, both motivation and anxiety plays an important role in English learning outcomes. Moreover, they are strongly associated in second and foreign language education. Furthermore, motivation and anxiety may impact the result as at different levels of foreign language learners. As a result, it is critical to investigate the link between motivation and also anxiety in terms of students' English learning achievement. Much research has been conducted on motivation and English among English learners in the field of school education, such as high school and also college. And then we can talk about limitation of the study. The study focused to investigate inner motivation and anxiety of English learning in English language education. Next, there is problem of the study. Based on the background of the study that has been explained, this research has three problems to be analysis. Okay, the research question is number one, how do English language learning motivation and anxiety affect English language education students by gender? To the first one. Second, how do English language learning motivation and anxiety affect English language education students by major? And the last one, how do English language education students by English language proficiency level? That is also purpose of the study. The purpose of the study is to investigate inner motivation and anxiety of English learning with respect to differences in gender, various measures, and language proficiency, especially for college students of English language education at Ganesha University of Education. Next, there is significance of the study. For the first one, for students. Students are expected to be able to control their anxiety with inner motivation. Second, for teachers teacher can provide direction as an educator. Teachers are required to be an inspiration and maintain class discipline. As an inspiration, teachers encourage students regardless of their level of intellectual ability or level of learning motivation. As a corrector, he must try to correct the attitudes and actions of students that are not accordance with the demands of human life. And the last one for other researchers. Hopefully, these research can be useful for other researchers to become a reference for youth anxiety topic. It can be used as an information researcher for will be able to conduct the research in the same topic. That's all about research background. For the next about literature review, we can start from motivation in learning language. Okay, motivation is based on desire to achieve a goal combined with the energy to engage toward that goal. The word motivation comes to mind of goal, effort, desire, energy, active engagement, and also persistence. To support a learner's goal for achievements, a teacher must understand the sources of motivation. Motivation is something that can help learners become more determined, and interested in language study. According to Garders and Lamberts, there are two types of motivation. Integrative motivation, referring to a holistic learning approach to the speech and cultures of the target language group, and instrumental motivation, referring to language learning for more direct or practical purpose. And then recently, a new classification of motivation has been identified, namely intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. To be more specific, intrinsic motivation, like integrative motivation, implies learning a second or foreign language is for the inherent pleasure in doing it. Extrinsic motivation, like instrumental motivation, refers to the urge to learn a second or foreign language triggered by some punishment of a reward from the social environment. For example, of intrinsic motivation is a student learning new vocabulary words because they love to read. Extrinsic motivation, however, is a learning because of external factor. Students may be motivated to learn to pass a test to gain a reward or to avoid a punishment. Next, about anxiety in learning language. Anxiety in learning language is a situation-specific anxiety that arises from the unique of formal learning of foreign language, especially in low self-assessment of communicative abilities in that language. Anxiety is one of the affective factors that have a great impact on foreign language learners has been studied since 1970s. And then anxiety is described by psychologists as a state of apprehension and vague fear that is only indirectly associated with an object. For example, a teacher who asks students to appear and present the results of the analysis by presenting it in front of the class. In terms of cause of language anxiety. Okay, Horwitz et al. Theorizes that foreign language anxiety in the classroom can be attributed to three main performance anxieties. They are communication apprehension, social evaluation, and then task anxiety. Besides Young, identifies six potential interrelated sorts of language anxiety, which may be attributes to the foreign language classroom environment. Personal and interpersonal anxieties, which could be related to fear of a real or anticipates act of speaking. Learner believes toward language learning. Teacher believes about language interaction. Interaction between instructor and learners, classroom procedures, and language exams. Therefore, the influence of anxiety of the language learning process and product make the identification of language learning anxiety as a significant component of foreign language research for language learners, because language learning anxiety is complicated and multi-dimensional. It manifests itself in learners differently. For the last one, it's about the relationship between motivation and anxiety for learning language. Several researchers have shown an interest in some studies on the relationship between language motivation and also anxiety in language learning. For example, Gardner, Day, and McIntyre mentioned that integratively motivated learning are less anxious in L2 contexts, that learners who are instrumentally motivated. Their findings indicate that anxiety and motivation are two separate dimensions with overlapping behavioral consequences. Knowles et al. States the more students, he said, the more students feel motivated, the less effort they will expend and the more anxiety they will feel. And then, in the view of Brown, Robson, and also Rosenjar, learners' motivation and anxiety were negatively correlated, and lack of motivation could cause anxious behaviors. Further, Liu found that the students' motivation was positively correlated with their English proficiency. Okay, an interesting negative correlation between second and foreign language learning anxiety and achievement is also addressed in the studies by Horwitz and Ida. Empirical research has shown that the more anxious foreign language students are, the less willing they are to get involved in learning activities, and these two have lower performance results than those who are less anxious students. That is by Ida. Currently, National English Proficiency is an index of competitiveness in Asia. The author of the study observed that English class interaction portrays an air of formality. For example, they are not unmotivated or inactive. They simply don't ask questions and are not eager to answer questions unless they are asked by teacher. It's only when teacher asks individual students directly will they receive a response, and students become nervous when they are called open the response to a question. As a result, some students are under a lot of pressure and anxiety, which contribute to a lack of English learning in class. For most of them, learning English is a nightmare, especially making mistakes in front of the class. As can be seen, language learning outcomes appear to be particularly susceptible to the complex effect of motivation and anxiety, which, as suggestion by the existing literature, may be related to one another to some degree by Liu and Huang, 2012. However, the influence of motivation and anxiety on the foreign language acquisition process is somewhat negligible in English learning and teaching environment. So, that's all about my research proposal. I'm sorry for if there are any mistakes pronunciation. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day and goodbye.